All right, and here we go with Owasso versus Edison in round 2 of the winner's bracket. Owasso 3-0'd Shoto, and Edison had a very close game with Selena, so it'll be interesting to see what they're going to be doing coming into this game.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, we see the same comp that we saw last time with Edison, a very hard dive comp. They want to push up. They want to get a lot of that value, especially with the queen. And on Owasso, we are going to see a Sigma comp. We've seen plenty of those, and we haven't necessarily seen one that's worked yet.
I mean, they've gotten a lot of potential on Lijiang, but definitely this map, this particular point, is kind of difficult. Edison running that brawl, dive, as you said, much more brawl though. It's about just full sending it. As fast as possible, keeping the close consistency. For Owasso, this might be a problem. The Sigma, I'm not sure how well will do against a queen walking on their team, but we will see. On full send it, we hear the 3-2-1 from Edison, but they're immediately going to lose their queen, and that's going to be the importance of what this Sigma comp can do for them. Is a lot of damage, tons of frontline damage. Gonna give them a lot of potential to get picks. Still looking kind of close, but ultimately Owasso is gonna pull out ahead.
I mean, what do you think that Edison is going to need to do in order to push past this?
Ultimately, you can't get rocked by the Sigma because you're just going to get murdered immediately. That's what happened to this queen with this last fight. If queen just full locks it straight forward into a Sojourn Sigma, it's obviously going to take a lot of damage. You need to eliminate that back line just like this Reaper Lucio. It's going to put a lot of pressure, and there's not a whole lot Sigma's going to do to defend them. We're gonna get that 34%. Now they're just gonna slowly damage the Sigma and probably stagger him. We're gonna see a lot of ultimates online here. We get the Sigma online and Castle. Meanwhile, Edison doing a lot better, sort of, in the ult department. I would argue definitely that Pulse can get a lot more value than some of these ults. But
I mean, what do you think is going to be the easiest target? Probably
for the Owasso team?
Yeah.
Definitely Juno. Juno Sojourn. As soon as Sojourn uses the slide, you're cooked. You have no cooldowns. And if your teammate's not there to help, they're immediately going to die. Immediately losing Tracer, they're going to get the rock onto the Queen, and a huge flux is going to potentially get one person here. They are going to be able to kill that Reaper, and now Edison is fighting a fight for percentage.
Set him up, knock him down.
Also able to retake the point. They're at an even percentage, though. They have plenty of time in order to come back, regroup, and retake the point. I mean, do you think that they need to really push onto that backline a little bit harder for Edison?
Oh, great rock. He's going to launch Queen off the map. I don't know. Again, we're playing the game of consistency. Picks flying all over the place, but Owasso has some very strong survivability. But really, it's just a switch and switch. Like, even though we've seen Owasso win these fights, it looks like they could lose the fight in the next section. Meanwhile, Sigma is extremely low. His teammates are going to try to blitz on there and kill the Sigma, but they're immediately going to get punished. Please Carry Me is holding down the line and staying alive, which is what they need to keep in these fights.
Looks like Please Carry Me is the one who is carrying.
I don't know. I mean, Owasso's Cassidy, Reflex, has been getting some insane kills and keeping up in these fights. Meanwhile, Shox trying to get value, but he's immediately going to get walked down. We're going to see the Fluxel, and it's not going to hit anything. And now we're going to see potentially a switch of side. Back for Edison. I don't know about that ult engagement. I feel like it was a little bit of an overuse, and now Edison is going to be down a very strong ult. Meanwhile, Owasso has Juno Sojourn. Those two ultimates alone honestly are better than half of the Edison ultimates. Reaper ult's okay. It usually doesn't get value. Now it's going to get a 5k in the next fight. If they somehow get it. As he gets immediately stunned and killed. That is not good for Edison. And now Winton is trying to walk it down and keep the pressure. But his team getting butchered right now by Reflex. Scared me for a second. I forgot he could fly. 99 in a match.
An insane
rock. Good timing from Owasso. And they're going to take that first round. Nasty rock.
Score 0-1.
Let's take a look at stats if we can. Looks like Christmas right now. We get this green and red. Gotta love it.
Oh, we're in the thick of it now.
Crush them.
Mm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective. Localize the enemy.
So what do you think that, what do you think needs to happen so that Edison can get this point?
That needs to happen. You gotta kill this Owasso, or this Edison heal comp. The thing about Lucio Mora that is just so crappy is you have no consistency. You have no util. You don't have an ability to stay in long-term fights. Mora is not going to out-heal a Sojourn right-click. It's just too much for Mora to keep up with. Now, if you're full sending it and focusing more on the damage end, then Mora gets some value. But that is ultimately what Owasso needs to keep doing to keep the pressure onto them. The kill onto the Lucio. It is still anybody's play. We're seeing picks left and right. Tracer locking it down right now for Edison to keep them in. And finally, they're going to get enough picks to potentially win the fight, but Zarya is still alive. They're still full sending it. Now it's going to be this Juno's trying to live. It's not going to be enough. Edison's going to teleport or fly back in here and keep them in the fight.
I mean, Edison showed right there that where they are strongest is when they can run a comp, that they can run it down, they can get onto point, they can get into the back line and get that value out of the fact that they are running a relatively squishy comp that does a lot of damage. Some immediate kills coming out from the Juno as Owasso is rushing back on a point, trying to get as much value as possible. Trades going left and right. A huge grab coming out.
Meanwhile, it's getting really hype in the other room. We got two games going on at the same time. Extremely close games and comms screaming all over the place. Very big to see that Owasso and Edison just keep switching sides of point. And I think it comes down to who's getting the engagement. And whenever Owasso is taking the engagement, they have a huge chance to get that pick. Meanwhile, Edison, when they take the engagement, they're getting really solid picks.
I mean, this queen has had some insane knives. And there it is, Edison pushing onto point, getting into that back line, getting those initial kills, and then just rolling from there.
It's like a tag team. You're tagging each other in left and right. Whenever Owasso feels tired of having point, they tag Edison in. We're going to see the Kyriel, and nobody's here. They're backing completely off. They don't want to play into the Kyriel. And a big pulse bomb coming out from Sniz onto the Juno. It's just going to give Edison this fight.
I mean, they were waiting. They let Kiri ult. They let everybody walk on a point and then immediately rushed in, got those backline picks, and everything fell apart.
They let them have the space, let them use Kyriel into nobody being there, and then as soon as Tracer saw the potential, saw the goal, became a striker, went in, got the pulse, and it gave them that fight. And now Owasso going to come down to their last fight if they can't win this.
They're not going to go around. They're going to try to go down main again.
You don't want to get booped. You have a lot of good ults, though. You got to remember you have Juno ult. You need to engage it, but they don't want to engage it too early. You see Queen fully walking onto their team now. Ultimate's flying out all over the place. We're going to see the castle is going to be engaged here, and it is going to get a kill onto the Mora, and Owasso still has a chance to keep it going. And look at their ultimates. They didn't use everything. They only used about 2 ultimates to make up for that Kiri use. They still have grab. They still have Sojourn ult. Meanwhile, Edison, let's be honest, their ultimates struggle to get a lot of value. And in the final 20%, the only thing you might be able to build up is Pulse Bomb. And the grab is going to try to hold them. They're going to try to get those kills. And now it's going to be a game of can Edison get someone to touch sights.
And that's a team wipe.
Shock on Owasso with the grab combo. And it's just not going to be enough. And Owasso is going to take the first map of Legion against Edison.
Play of the game.
Огонь по готовности!
All right, and we are back with Owasso versus Edison. Owasso took that first map, and Edison picked King's Row. If we want to, we can try to take a look at some of the previous replays that have happened in this game. We saw that this Cassidy was able to get so much value. Ooh, a little bit of lag in the replays, but there was so much value going on with Owasso being able to get up, take that point, and Edison was unable to really take it away from them. A huge, amazingly timed rock coming out from the Sigma. Yeah, Edison just rushing in, getting onto point, trying to get as much out of it as possible. Oh, and it looks like the replay is muted, so let's make sure that that's good. As we're beginning and getting ready for this next game, switching back in right as we open up into Edison versus Owasso. Now, we saw a lot that Edison runs this really hard and really fast dive comp, so how is that going to go into this this next fight? Edison running around. Are we going to choose to go up and take the high ground, rush in from above? It looks like we are. Or not, juking him out.
We're seeing the old reliable Queen comp, but this time we're seeing a big swap onto the Edison support line. It's honestly kind of what they needed, but we're seeing the Zarya gameplay that is just sometimes a sleeper kind of gameplay to watch, but it doesn't really matter when you have a Cassidy that is playing single player in the backline and getting to kill your Kiri. Just huge kills coming out from Sniz, from Edison. Owasso getting walked on. That is the problem that you're going to run into running a Zarya comp against their Juno Brig, is the Juno speed Queen into your backline is going to be way too much for you to deal with most of the time. And it is going to end out causing you to lose people every single fight engagement.
Now, I wonder how in this choke point Edison plans on rushing in. They may need to go around the other direction.
I think all you got to do is walk payload. You want to walk that space as long as possible. And as soon as you're ready to call, you call the speed into the angle. Meanwhile, your Sojourn completely chokes, and a big Hassel is going to kill Kiri. And that is going to keep Edison playing WQ, or W key, as we love to see. Presses the knife onto the ass, trying to get that extra pick.
I mean, Edison is just able to get so much value by, as you said, holding the W key.
Good old reliable W key. It's gonna keep you into these fights. We're gonna see the Bob engaged here, but they're immediately gonna lose the Ashe. Bob's gonna get melted because that Juno ult is just gonna be way too much damage for them to deal with. And now Owasso is forced to set here on 4 ults. We see a grab, engaged, but no comms and no team ready to get value off of it. Now we're going to see even more ultimates flying out from Owasso. They're going to try to get some value. They need to get a pick or something. They're going to kill the Brig, but the Queen ult is going to engage into the backline. He's going to put too many kills in the favor of Edison, and they're going to lose another fight. This is just a roll. Owasso has no holding potential right now.
I mean, what do you think that Owasso needs to do in order to hold this last point for 4 minutes?
Locking down Sigma, again, is an interesting comp. It has done some great work for them in the past, but it also hasn't. I'm going to be honest, running this Juno Brig has really helped Edison to the point where Owasso needs to start trying to pick this cast on the side, getting some good stuns to keep them into the fight. The Sigma Rock might get what they're looking for, but meanwhile, they're finally going to get some kills, and they're going to fight out with that Kyriel. Even though the Kyriel looks blue, I swear to you guys, that was Owasso's ultimate. And we're going to see them walking up, trying to get some space here, getting a pick to potentially stagger them. If you're Owasso, you got to play careful, but you need to play up to apply the pressure. You don't want to hand space for free, especially in this comp. As soon as their Juno ring goes down, you need to be thinking about how you want to use your Juno ring if you have one. But interesting enough, also doesn't have that speed anymore, and a big boop is gonna come out from Edison. That's just not what you want when you are on Owasso. Not able to get the rock off before the castle is engaged. We're seeing Cass try to land a shot here to get a kill to stagger them out. Not gonna be enough. And now they're gonna have to play back for a second and engage with the Sigma ult against Venture. Almost Juno ult, almost Queen ult. Doing fantastic. Sigma ult looks like it gets Brig, but that's just not what you need here. You need to get something a little easier to kill. Picks coming out from both sides here, but Edison walking it down with an excellent time of 2 minutes and 48 seconds. What did you think of that last round? I mean, the Christmas color fight right now that's going on, blue and green, or red and green, and Queen is getting all of the value in the world right now. It is just too oppressive for Owasso to deal with, and I'm not sure that Sigma is really the answer.
Yeah, and I think that that's going to be a huge part of Owasso's next try is what are they going to be doing? What are they going to be thinking of when they're going on this attack? Like, are they going to wonder if Edison is going to run that same comp, which it looks like they are? How are they going to deal with the fact? Are they going to choose the same thing that Selena did and that they were able to get so much value out of, which was switching up their comp, going on something that was a little bit more dive heavy, and made that a really close game?
Yeah, I mean, again, Owasso still has big potential to do a lot of things, but I'm just not sure on this Sigma comp. I'm not seeing the vision. I think it's really hard to play a Sigma comp into now a more consistent brawl speed comp that Edison is running into. But who knows? If they can get a strong rock, get a big pick at this very beginning, then they should be able to theoretically take this first point with no real problems. But let's see. Sigma's going to walk in here and try to do block Hotel. Meanwhile, they're going to speed around on the left side and immediately get a pick onto the Sojourn. That's going to cause issues because now Owasso needs to fall back. They have to regroup. They can't go in now. And playing that pincer movement on multiple sides of Statue is a great way to hold that space with this comp. And as long as they don't accidentally use their cooldowns at a wrong time, they should be able to get a pick in almost every fight sequence. We're gonna see them walking the right. They call it out, 3, 2, 1. They're gonna full send it here. Venture immediately getting pressured, but as soon as the Venture gets down to 1 HP, they kill the Sojourn again. And now Edison walks it back. And they're just gonna keep doing this. This is the problem that you're gonna have with Sigma. Sigma doesn't have the ability to do much in a right front battle.
What do you think Owasso needs to do? What do you think they need to switch to?
Ramatra, a speed comp brawl of themselves. Walk their back line, play consistency, play a dive. Something that can just outspeed the Edison comp. Unless you're just wanting to lock down Torb Sim and you punish Venture every time she goes in, maybe you could do that too. Right now, we're seeing Owasso try to out-rotate Edison. Unfortunately, Sigma not going to have the range to snipe that far away, but notice what Edison's doing. They're giving space so they can 3, 2, 1 speed back in, and a big rock is going to try to slow them down, but Cass is immediately going to get kills. And that is going to be very bad for Edison. And see, it was a good play that Edison wanted to fall back and then do the 3, 2, 1. But they made it so predictable. You could scream in a LAN room and say 3, 2, 1, and I wonder when you're gonna walk out. You're probably gonna walk at the end of the 3, 2, 1. But even then, even if they didn't hear it, very predictable that they're gonna wait for their last person to pull the corner, and then you just gotta time that rock. You time that rock perfectly. They have no shields, no real barriers. Besides Brig, they're not gonna be able to do a whole lot.
Well, and we saw in that first game in Lijiang that the Sigma was able to time it. A big ult coming out from Queen. Can we get some picks out of it?
Lots of ultimates flying all over.
Everybody's low.
Gonna try to walk it down here. We see Edison engage the Brig ult, and people are finally falling on the Owasso side. This looks like a fight one potentially for Edison. They just need to keep it up. Queen is battling for her life in a hotel. Venture's finally gonna come back, and that's gonna be a fight one for Edison. And now they need to fall back and regroup a little bit, or go for a stagger.
Payload's moving. Someone stop that thing.
We see the Sojourn taking a peek here. Fox has been getting punished really hard this game. And it's just very unfortunate when you lose your Sojourn over and over again. It's going to cause plenty of issues. You're going to engage the Sojourn here to apply some pressure. Lots of right clicks just flying all over the place. Not quite landing anything. And immediately going to get killed by Brig. Sigma is going to full walk here and potentially kill Queen. Not a whole lot you can do about that. And Owasso's getting the value out of the Sigma comp that they want. Frontline damage. You don't need your Sojourn, because your Sojourn's dead every fight. But your Cass and your Sigma is going to put so much pressure down main that it can out-damage Queen most of the time.
Yeah, and they want to try to get this this next point, or this get up to point as soon as possible. They need as much time as they can. Ooh.
Ooh.
A big ult coming out.
And a fantastic play from Clover on the Venture. I'm glad I didn't say my previous statement. I was thinking that the Venture was kind of struggling to get some value there for a little bit, but curse me. Venture immediately. It's a huge play, but it's 2 minutes on this second section, and Edison is about to have 2 ults online. Meanwhile, Owasso, same boat, except 2 support ults versus a tank and support ult. Which one's gonna get more value? Nano's gonna be huge. The Curiol's gonna be huge. We're gonna see the Edison engagement. We're gonna see Anti and tons of different utilities being tossed all over the place. We're gonna see the Curiol also engage from Owasso to keep them in this fight. Meanwhile, Kiri's gonna die, and Owasso is gonna have to fast regroup here. Make sure they don't get staggered too hard. Meanwhile, Sojourn taking the fight with the Cass isn't gonna be able to quite kill anybody, but now he's caught in the middle of nowhere. Isn't gonna be quite be able to help kill the Brig fast enough. But please carry me. He's gonna get some big picks, and they're just gonna full send it. Very well together team, Owasso here, and wow, that is the first time I'm seeing that color variant on that gun. That looks awesome. Sigma getting a lot of value, and again, his survivability and the time they spent to regroup. Not quite able to land that rock. They just need to punish this Venture as soon as she flies out. Finally gonna get killed. We're gonna see the Queen ult engaged here from Edison. This is extremely winnable. They can lock it down, but we're gonna see the Sigma ult on their whole entire back line, and it might just be too much. If the Queen can lock in. But unfortunately, Sniz is not gonna be able to land the castle that he was looking for. And Owasso gonna cap. Keep the push going. But now you got a whole other problem. You are at 1 minute and 50 seconds on hybrid. If they are unable to finish with time, Owasso's only chance is to draw the map.
Another big ult coming out.
Lots of
Getting a little bit of value.
all over the place. See the cast ult. Which is gonna choose to wake up right in front of the cast, and Reflex is gonna try to carry the team on his back and full send it in to get those kills. They want to finish with time, and there is still a lot of potential. More ults engaged. Kyriel is going to be popped, but the Juno is going to get a big kill onto Cass. Meanwhile, their Cass is going to get traded. They're immediately going to lose their Sojourn. Now they have no DPS. They get a big sleep. He's going to be at 1 HP, and Sigma is still alive, but they can't keep the Kyrie alive. Queen is just going to full walk it. Now they have no choice. They got to regroup and go again. Sigma might live here. It does look like he's gonna live. 42 seconds on the clock. Owasso has to finish with a second. They even want to have a chance to win this match.
Yep, Owasso does have, at least this does have one ult right now, coming up on 2 more.
Seeing the Edison team hold from the sideline once again. Big Nade gonna come out in a huge signal, potentially gonna get them some picks, but they've just lost way too many people in this fight engagement. They're gonna have to hold Nano and probably swap Sigma. The Wrecking Ball or something that can play a little faster. 12 seconds. Now that's not what you want. Can you kill the Queen? Nano finally gonna be engaged here. It's gonna get 2 kills with 2 seconds on the clock. Will they be able to touch? They are gonna be able to touch. And they're gonna kill Venture, but I don't know if Cass is gonna make it. He does. If his team does some swaps, they run it over. There is no way for Owasso to win this map, unfortunately, but they can still tie it. They're gonna need a fast regroup. Cass is gonna have to play for his life. They're gonna walk this Queen. Big Nade. It's gonna try to kill her. Oh, what a big shot! It's gonna get Queen off the map. They gotta stay on point, though. They can't lose track of what they need to do. They're gonna get the kill onto the Cassidy, and now it's gonna be Venture. But they won the fight! And they forgot. What a fight. And that's the problem you run into running Doomfist there. You're going to walk off point. And Edison is going to take this map and put it up to tie 1-1 in this best of 5.
It's time.
And here we go. Back at it again. We get to see Flashpoint. Probably one of my least favorite modes, but, you know, it's Overwatch. So we live with what we have. Very quiet, very eerie. Like we're in a quiet landscape right now. It's so nature. Can't wait to see Zarya for the 20th time.
Why don't we take a look at some of the previous plays that we saw from Owasso and Edison in that last map? Let's see what we see. Some of the captures. This cast just consistently getting a lot of value coming out. Ooh, a little bit of lag for the replays.
Yeah, this cast was huge. From Edison, as well as Owasso has a very solid cast gameplay. We saw a lot of pressure coming out from this Queen, being able to full send it and get all the value in the world, and that's what they needed. And ultimately, Edison was able to blitz them while Owasso just wasn't quite able to get the point that they wanted. Now we're going straight back into the game. Owasso really far up here. Edison doing what they love to do. Hard stack the 5, get ready to call the speed. Meanwhile, got this Tracer kind of lingering in the back line. The engage and ring was already used. Let's see that Tracer get a pick, potentially. And get shut down by Sniz. And that's what you want your cast to do. And that's going to be really bad for Owasso. Now we do see Edison has that point. Meanwhile, Owasso's trying to fall back here without losing anybody. They want to take a kill if they can. Lots of low HP people here and there. Meanwhile, Zarya's going to try to walk down the Cassidy. He's going to catch him, but he's going to lose their Sojourn. Please carry me. Going to have to get another pick if they want to stay in this fight. That full charge Zarya beam is just going to lock down anyone that isn't prepared for it. Brig is going to be killed, and now Owasso is starting to gain some momentum. The power of Zarya. Walk it down, look at a laser, keep getting kills. Owasso there lost their DPS, and Please Carry Me had no choice but to work with the supports and push back that fight. Their supports were bobbing and weaving, trying not to lose to this Queen Venture comp that has just been too much for them. So good on them for surviving and ultimately leading Owasso to win that fight.
Yeah, and Owasso is going to be going into this next fight with 2 ults, immediately using a grab
We're going to see Grab.
and Pulse.
The down area that's going to get an interesting kill on the Juno, but it's a left and right now. It's hard to determine who's getting kills here. Can they kill Venture? I hear someone screaming their throat out right now. I don't think they're going to be able to speak after this, and the Queen is struggling to hit a shot. Finally going to hit that shot that they're looking for, and they're going to tag the point once again. We saw this on Control. This swap of side over and over again, and now Owasso does not have a lot of time to touch this. It's going to be up to the Tracer if they want to keep this fight going. But Tracer looks like she's on the complete opposite side. 94%, they're going to have to walk it down. And nobody touches. Tracer took the wrong fight on the sideline, and now they're not going to get to fight for that. They're going to have to reset and go for the next point.
Edison's coming into this next one with almost 4 ults. As long as the Venture can stay alive, Juno ult being engaged right on top of Queen.
But Juno ult was engaged. It's just all over the place right now. Edison and Owasso playing around the Zarya. They're both playing around their tanks, and whenever the other tank isn't able to get value, it's over. But Zarya is going to come out on top there with the Kiri Tracer.
I mean, we just consistently keep seeing this back and forth between Edison and Owasso. What do you think is going to be the main difference in who is going to come out on top?
It's the tank. I mean, we really look at it. These two tanks are playing against each other in the ultimate fight of who can get more value. Ultimately, Queen is always going to do good in the initial engagement, while Zarya has better survivability, more damage consistency onto a soft target that just appears out of nowhere. Zarya lives with charge, but they got to get back in there if they want to capitalize on it.
Brig walking into a wall.
They grab, and this is what we see just too many times, is the one team will take point while the other tags it out. Edison was done having point. They didn't want point anymore. The Brig was too busy walking into a wall to be ready.
Well, and even coming into this next fight, Edison isn't going to have any ults. Neither does Owasso, so... it's going to be down to whoever gets those first couple picks. And there are 2 from Edison, going on 3, trying to grab this Kiri.
I don't know, we've seen it time and time again. Once again, Edison got the first engagement there, and they won the fight. Owasso was done having the point. They didn't want it anymore. And now Edison has it, and it's going to be up to this last fight. Will Tracer actually get his team the touch they need, or is he going to get punished as soon as he tries to get the touch? %. Luckily, Zarya is going to be the one to touch here. The Fight's gonna engage. Ultimates are gonna fly all over the place. The biggest thing, you gotta not allow that queen to get a lot of capitalization. But no pick has been landed yet. Zarya is in a very dire straits here. Meanwhile, the Juno is struggling for her life because the queen is full sending her. And we're just gonna see it again. Edison taking that fight.
Flashpoint.
Let's increase our pace.
I mean, it feels somewhat like the Owasso is just unable to deal with Edison rushing onto the back line on this map.
For sure. I mean, it's just such a struggle when you play Flashpoint. It's a full momentum based. When you constantly or touching and exchanging hands of point, that ult economy and the ability to full send it under the right targets. I do believe Edison has a much stronger team coordination that Owasso just doesn't have right now.
This ends now.
Throwing out the OC and not getting much value out of it from Owasso. I mean, Edison is doing the classic. They're pulling back, waiting for everybody to get onto point before rushing back in.
But
A huge grab.
grab from Owasso, getting him through the wall. We're gonna see that good old-fashioned exchange of hands. Owasso has point. And they should get it up to 50% before they even have a very strong fight going on.
Yeah. Just like they did when they were going through King's Row, Owasso saw that Edison was pulling back. They knew exactly what they were doing. They had Grav ready, and I don't think Edison thought of the fact that they were going to Grav there.
Yeah, I mean, that Grav really kind of just shot down main. Now we're going to see Edison engage their speed. Can they save their Kiri? They're going to engage the ultimate right before the Kiri dies. This fight's not lost, but never mind. I'll stop speaking. 3 people immediately dying. Zarya's not going to quite be able to do everything here. And Edison is going to take the point back. We've seen Owasso get so high percentage over and over again. But Edison always ends out capping the point. What does Owasso need to do in this next fight engagement to secure the point?
I think one big thing is that they probably need to rush a little bit faster onto the point and make sure, because of the fact that Edison is going to be rushing onto them, I think it's something where they may just need to do the same thing as Salina and run something to counter it, or run something that's the exact same. Like, it's getting those initial picks first.
Queen immediately using that ult, but dives too far, and Owasso is finally going to be able to capture a point and put a score on the board for Flashpoint.
Secure. Next, flashpoint. Temple.
Edison rushing up onto point, using those ults, getting that space. And Edison unable to take the point with a huge Zarya grab. Grav plus OC, able to get Owasso the point. Now, can they hold it, or is Edison going to turn right back around and take the point again? Owasso needs to be careful because of the fact that Edison does have 2 ults up. Juno ult is going to be up pretty soon as well. If Owasso isn't going to play careful, they know Edison's just going to walk on them. Immediately going after the Zarya, trying to get a couple of picks. 2 ults coming out from Edison. We see the picks. They've taken the space. The point has switched hands once again.
Not so fast.
Now, Owasso coming into this with 3 ults. Can they take it back? Are they going to engage with Curie ult? Edison is sitting there waiting for them. A huge pulse bomb going off. They're unable to get a lot of value from it. Slowly but surely, trades are happening. Edison is coming out on top. They do have Curie. Does Curie want to use the ult here to doesn't need it, as Zarya, unable to die, is able to kill the queen and take back the point.
Secure.
It is now 2-2.
Flashpoint. Palace.
How is this final point going to be handled? There's 2 Juno ults. Are we going to see both of them be used in this next fight to try to take point? Or are we going to have another back and forth of one person taking the point and the other taking the other?
I mean, they love to exchange hands on these kinds of things.
Both Juno ults being used.
2-2, neck to neck. Wow. Owasso really pulling it back now.
I mean, I think ultimately when both Juno ults are being used, all things being equal, Owasso has more survivability when it comes to sitting in that ult.
The Zarya, I mean, not to mention, think about it. Zarya's cleansing his teammates every time the queen uses ult. So though you're getting a big queen ult, if Zarya gets a bubble on herself or gets a bubble on one of the supports that's in a weak situation, the queen ult wouldn't matter. They might be better team consistently, but Owasso can just play the single player game on some of these characters. Grab launched into absolutely nothing. Not gonna hit anything, but this castle is gonna be a huge pick potentially, and it keeps them in the fight. Edison looking to try to win this, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. How unfortunate, missing that kill onto the Juno. Wow. Final 20%, gonna be a run. You're gonna have to sprint it for this point. Less than 10 seconds left to touch. They should get it. They'll get the touch here.
Yeah, queen rushing up on the point.
And big pulse immediately onto the bridge. Coming out from Reflex. That's what they need. They need that pick to stay into this fight. And finally, it does look like potentially Owasso is gonna finish out this map and win and continue the tradition where if it's your map pick, you're gonna win it. Owasso wins.
An absolutely close game by both teams, just going back and forth, taking the point from each other. But ultimately, Owasso is the one that came out on top. We will be right back with the next game after this.
And we're going straight into it. Owasso. This time, obviously, this is a map pick for Edison. We've always seen throughout all of these best of fives for sure, has always been whoever picked the map wins the map. Will that tradition keep going? Not sure. We'll just have to see.
I mean, especially on something like a push map, do you think that Edison has an advantage playing their very aggressive comp, being able to really dive on those backlines?
I definitely feel like Zarya is going to struggle a little bit.
A Winston?
Winton playing Winton? Now,
I think this is the first time we've seen Edison change off of their comp.
The first time we've seen a Winston, and I love watching a Winston gameplay. Winston has so much potential to block off sight lines, block the support, as well as a very strong tank against the Zarya comp. I feel like Owasso is going to struggle a little bit in range unless their Sojourner is going to be able to set up as much as they want to onto these high grounds. Meanwhile, Cass might be the only thing that is a little slow, as well as the Brig, but I think if Cass and Brig play around each other and they spot for this Sombra, they should be fine. They're gonna time their dives, and this is what Edison needs, because their team comp is so good at being coordinated. They're just waiting for the perfect chance to pounce on a potential kill. That time, they waited a little bit too long. I think they let the Sombra do the engagement from the other team, and now they have no choice but to fast regroup. Sombra is going to try to assassinate the Brigitte, and
Is able to.
Your problem there was Edison got set up. They were ready to do a dive, and then they hesitated. Nobody made a choice, and they ultimately sat there waiting for a Sombra to pounce on their team.
I'm wondering if that's something where that's the pick from the Winston, because ultimately it was the Queen that was starting those rushes with the shout. So now it's still up to Winston in order to rush in and get that dive.
Seeing this, Winston trying to force it down onto Zarya, but ultimately it's just going to be outdamaged. Zarya's not really your target you want as Winston. You need to catch the Sojourn out on a slide. You need to catch this Juno off guard, or your Brig and Cass needs to kill the Sombra.
Yeah, I'm definitely wondering what the thought process there was for that dive of choosing the Zarya instead of trying to go on any of their backlines.
Well, I think he was just down cooldowns and he didn't really know what else he could do. So he forced it down as quick as he could, and now they're going to have a big pick onto the Sojourn. As I said, Sojourn is probably one of your easier targets. As soon as Slide is gone, you're immediately going to pretty much be dead. A lot of picks coming up from the Zarya Sombra, but I don't know if it's enough, but Sombra gets a kill on the Brig, and they're still in this. Sombra's alive. Tracer hunting down the Sombra. Reflex is getting in their head. Can Edison do something against it? Finally, getting some percentage? No, they're going to have to back up and regroup because they lost most of their team. That is going to reset the close spawn, though. We're going to see the EMP engaged here, as well as the EMP, or as well as the grab. Still going to lose Sombra and Sojourn. No DPS. Kiri Winston, or Kiri Zarya versus this Winston. Both teams kind of just doing their own thing, staring at each other, waiting for their teams to regroup. We're going to see Edison on the re-engagement, finally getting some percentage that they've been wanting to get. Sombra walking right by Tracer. A huge Reaper ult from Golden. We just saw 3 ults engaged from Edison. And potentially losing their Winston. No. It's going to get out with their life. Meanwhile, Owasso has 2 very strong ultimates online. This is going to be a battle of the ults. And Pulse get more value than the Soj ult. And we're seeing that once again. Edison is going to give them the space. They want all 5 of their team in every fight because they're going to have that Tracer Pulse Bomb engaged. And that should potentially give them the win if they play it right.
Running in with Rally, getting that initial stun, unable to get the kill off of it.
We're going to see the Juno ult engaged from Owasso. Kills flying all over the place with the Pulse. Is going to get more value than Owasso's Juno ult. And that's exactly what Edison wanted. They wanted to reset the momentum. Gave them a little bit of space to get all 5 of them into the next fight. And now they're finally going to start getting that percentage that they've been looking for.
Now, Owasso does still have the overclock as well as the Zarya ult is upcoming. They just need to try to hold out against this dive, and an immediate pick on the Juno is huge as overclock is able to get 2, but they're trading back and forth.
And Edison's gonna try to fall back and regroup. They're gaining, you know, some decent distance, but they're just not able to hold on to that point when Owasso regroups because that Zarya its Sombra combo is just too much for them.
Two ults from Owasso coming into this next fight. Edison knows the hack was incoming.
And a grab engaged here from Owasso. I don't even feel like they really needed it. But, you know, you're going to do what you got to do to win these fights. Now Owasso is going to be down almost every ultimate. But they're going to be back pushing, getting more advantage over Edison. Meanwhile, we look at Edison. They have Reaper ult and Pulse and Juno almost online. We'll see if this Reaper ult gets the value that they're looking for. And it does. They get the 2 kills. Now Edison needs to fast regroup and push this cart. Push this robot. And regain the momentum. I feel like you just keep sending it. You need to get this kill onto the Zarya because it's such a massive stagger. But so much of the team is here. And they're not quite able to get the kill on him. And they do end up losing 2. That's just, it's such a crush on their momentum. And now Edison has to full regroup again.
They are coming in though with 3 ults. They do have quite a while that they need to push though. So I would assume that they want to try to win this next fight without using any ults so that they can rush in, but we're just going to see all of the ults in the world being used by Edison to try to take this point back.
And Reflex is just doing so much right now onto their backline. That Sombra is an absolute menace. They're finally going to catch him out. But this is the problem that we've seen with Edison every single time. They've lost way too many people. And what are they going to do? They're going to run away. Because they don't feel like they can take that fight, which is fair. You're going to have your Tracer try to hold the robot just for a little bit longer. Now they got that fast re-engagement. They'll be able to take a fight here immediately. And here it is. They're going to full send it here. Try to get a pick. But that EMP grab is just going to be too much for them. And Owasso is going to maintain the momentum.
I mean, I think that's part of the problem that you're going to see with such a squishy dive comp is the fact that they have to work together. They know that they have to work together as a team, but then they aren't able to win those individual fights.
Oh, and a massive Winston dive onto the Juno. We're going to see an ult engaged. And it is just that relatively same pattern we've been seeing throughout all these points, where when one team gets too much of an advantage, the other kicks them right off. It is still anyone's game here, but if you're Edison, you gotta be thinking about what ults you have online here. Think about what Owasso has been using. I mean, look at Owasso's ults. What do you think's about to happen in this next fight engagement?
We do also have, though, Edison does have 2 ults coming online. We can definitely get some good use out of them. Just have to pick the right targets. OC coming in from behind. And not able to get anything out of it. It was punished.
Edison finally holding down on the cart. And now you need to regroup because that robot is going to walk into the midpoint. That should buy you a little bit of time. But look at Edison's ult. We're about to see Juno ult online, as well as the Winton and the Reaper ult. Meanwhile, Owasso about to have Grab and EMP, one of their favorite combos. We're going to see the Reaper ult's going to be engaged here to take that early space. But Monkey's going to die to Zarya. That might just spell the end for them, unless Edison's Tracer can get a big pick. A huge rewind is going to send him back into the Zarya, but Tracer just cannot fight Zarya by herself. She's going to have to fast regroup.
10 seconds left.
Nobody walking cart. They don't want to walk the cart to Edison. They want to make Edison fight for it. Tracer's going to fly in here, Try to get the touch. Gotta make sure nobody walks off though. But the grab, he's gonna try to hold him back, but he was just a second too early. We're gonna see ults flying all over the place. Winston trying to get his gauge, trying to get some consistency, but it's not gonna be enough. We're gonna see the EMP engaged, and everyone falling apart. And Owasso is gonna take this series 3-1.
Victory. Play of the game.